That's
Wow.
why I don't lock it. I don't know where to go to.
Now just put the dollar sign. You can manually put it. You don't have to.
Okay. Oh, okay.
You can manually do that, right?
Yes, I think.
You
But I feel
can
like it's
just
going
put
to
the
be a whole
dollar
lot
sign there.
of me just don't know.
Yeah, it's a whole lot. Or otherwise, you use F4. So
Okay.
F4 works. So this is me pressing F4.
Okay, F4 in your keyboard.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
If F4 doesn't work, then you can use the function button, then F4.
Okay.
The function button is the FN button that you see on your PC. I don't know if you have it. What PC are you using?
FN lock. I'm using FN lock here. I'm using
What PC
HP.
are you using? HP what?
HP. I don't know. Now be done.
Oh, you don't
I
know.
don't know
That's
the HP
interesting.
that I'm using.
You can use the F4 key or you type it manually.
Okay.
You didn't try this. What happened?
I did.
Oh, you did. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I did.
But hold on, I just remembered that you did. Hold
Yes.
on.
Yes.
If you don't get used to it, now you are going to face problems later.
If I don't what?
If you don't get used to it, now you are going to face problems later.
Oh, so I need to start making use of it.
Yeah. Otherwise, you are going to face a whole lot of problems later. By the time you start applying some of your formulas, it's going to be a very serious problem for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'll be wondering why you are not getting um,
This is
okay, cool. Total revenue by female tenants. Okay, this is interesting. And oh, okay. Then weightlifting China. So bronze weightlifting, number of total bronze groups less than 130. Okay, good. So in this particular tutorials, the last tutorial, somebody else. I am lazy, but oh, sorry about this.
all right.
Sorry, I'm laughing. I'm laughing about something.
Okay, okay.
Anywho, so in our previous session, we talked about what we've done so far in terms
Yeah.
of the formulas or the functions we've done so far and what we are going to do. So today we are going to be doing VLOOKUP. Yeah. So everything is implied in its name, VLOOKUP. So lookup, you know what lookup is. So V. So the V is now what the issue is now the problem. So V means vertical lookup. So basically whatever is vertical is the column. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, true. So and you use VLOOKUP for looking up values in a particular table. So let's say you have a table here and somebody gave you an information that, oh, I have a problem somewhere, I want to check something somewhere, can you help me do some form of verification? So you might say, okay, maybe check this particular person's name in this particular table and maybe bring out some other information. Maybe somebody has um, an employee table, for instance, where you have the name, the department. Maybe I want to check your department, or I want to check your salary. So I'm just going to go back to one of our tables. I think this. Yep. So let's say I have this particular table. I am maybe an intern for HR, and of course, every employer has an employee ID, right?
Yes.
The reason why that is in case if you are somebody or another person is bearing the same name, so that they can easily identify. So what the vertical lookup does is you take a reference and an identifier, and you check for that identifier in a range of table or a range of values, and return back certain information. What do I mean? So let's say I have, for instance, employee IDs of M020. I have M041, and let's just say M75 or 075. And I want to know which department do these people belong to? Maybe because I want to do some findings. And most likely, maybe they are salaried. Maybe the date when they joined. I just want to know. So one way you can actually do this is to go and start going through the table where is 020, which is somewhere around here. Then you return finance as department, salary as this, and the date they joined, right? Now,
Yes.
imagine you have over 10,000 rows of data. How then do you go about that? Make sense?
Yes.
So, how then do you go about that? That can be a whole lot of problems a lot of times. And the VLOOKUP is one of those tools you can use to help you quickly get this information. So, but for VLOOKUP, for you to use VLOOKUP, right?
Yes.
You need to have a table. So the conditions for VLOOKUP, you require a table. You could require a lookup value, what you are looking up for, what you are looking for. Now you also require what you want to return. So you are looking up somebody's employee, you want to return something back. So in this case, you want to return the department of this employee, the salary, and the date they joined. Maybe because you just want to check it due to maybe you want to do something, or you want to give some bonus, or you as a management in the management team like HR, maybe you want to change somebody's department and something like that. You just want to verify about your employee, right?
Yes.
So you would use this VLOOKUP to do that. But for it to work, you need a table of reference, which is this. You need a lookup value, which we already have here. And what we want to return is whatever is here that we want to return based on what the column header or the column title, right? And so I'm going to go to my insert functions and look for VLOOKUP. I do have a VLOOKUP here. Now, you can see in the explanation, it said VLOOKUP. What does it contain? A lookup value. It also requires a table array, which is a table or a range of values, or an array. An array is basically a range of something. A column index number. Now, this is what you want to return. This column index number, but I'll explain what it means. And a range lookup. For now, always make this range lookup 0. Always put 0. Don't worry about it. I'll explain to you. Hopefully, you come to understand much later why that is. So this one, the constant for this range lookup is 0, and you have to put a value there. So you need 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of values. A lookup value, a table array, which is a range of values, a column index, which basically is a number, but the range lookup always 0 a lot of times. Just put it like that. I'll click on OK. And now, based on what I explained, what will be my lookup value? Well, that was a question.
Is that a question?
Yeah, that was a question. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm asking you. Based on what I just finished explaining now, what will be my lookup value in this scenario?
That's the to be honest, I did not see that function very well. My mind was away from me. At that time, I was literally looking elsewhere. That's fine.
My lookup value will be my employee ID, because that's what I want to look. That's my reference point. That is what I want to use to look up other information, because other informations are dependent on this lookup value. The department ID is linked to the department is linked to the employee ID. The first name, the last name is linked to the employee ID, because employee ID is a unique identifier, what you can use to identify somebody. It's very easy to, instead of using somebody's name that, you can have 2 Dockers, you can have 2 Michelle or Kevin or Philip or Benjamin, right? You can have multiple names of somebody that are 2 different people. So you use the employee ID is a unique identifier. You remember when I talked about unique identifier?
Yes. Employee
I said
ID.
they are used to identify each entry of rows of in a particular table. Each entry, they use that. You use a unique identifier to as a reference point. Is like an anchor. You understand? That will say no. This belongs to this information belongs to this particular unique identifier. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So now the lookup value is going to be the employee ID.
Yeah, this is because it's what we want to use to look up other information.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yes.
I'm going to attach my my relative cell referencing by putting a $ in front of the J, which is the column. Why? Because I'm most likely going to be dragging down and dragging to my right, and I don't want this column J to change, because I'm actually looking at J9, J10, and J11. Since J is constant here, I don't want it to change. Now, my table array, where will be my table array? My table array will be here because that's where I'm going to find other informations, including my employee ID. Now, I'm going to start from the first table from the first table entry, and since I don't know where my information is actually located, I'll just highlight everything to the last. This is my table array, and I'm going to put a $sign, an absolute cell reference because it's an array. Now, the column index is whatever it is I want to return. In what column of that particular table I refer to, where will I find what column? It's in my department column, right? My department column is the fourth column on this table that I highlighted. Mind you, the table I highlighted is from A to F.
Yes.
A to F, regardless of G. G is not part of the. So
yes.
So the department column is the fourth column in this table array that I highlighted. So I will then say, instead of having to say department, I will just say 4. Why? Department is in the fourth column of this particular table. Then I said my range lookup always puts 0.
0, yes.
So you can see it has already returned for me a value called finance. So the M020 is in the finance department. And I just need to do this formula once. If I write my function very well, I only need to do it just once. I'll click on OK and I get finance. And then I can click and drag. And I'll get for each department, for each employee ID, their correct department. And we can confirm that. Let's go to M20. We can see that it's Patricia Carter and she's in finance. Let's go to M41. Ashley Fitzpatrick, and that person is in marketing. Let's go to M075, which is IT, just to confirm if it is giving us the correct information. So Broco and IT, right? So you can see that it has given us the correct information that exists in this table. Now, for salary, we'll do the same thing. I will just go to insert, click on my VLOOKUP. My VLOOKUP value, I would rather not choose department, and I will tell you why. Because department is repeating here, is not a unique identifier. It might return a result for you, but it will not return the right result. So your lookup value has to be a unique identifier, unique to that particular information you want to get. So I'll choose my employee ID, my table array, which is this table. I'll put the $sign. My column index will be where what do I want to return? The salary. Where is salary? Where is the salary column in this my
5.
table array?
5
is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So column 5, and I'll just put 5 there and 0. You can see it has returned a value for me, 64,428. And when I'm done, I'll just click and drag. And maybe you don't trust it, you can just confirm. For Patricia, let me increase the size so you can see. For Patricia, we have 64,428, which corresponds with this. You don't need to verify everything because the value we are looking for is just 3 rows of data. So that's why we are just doing this to confirm that, oh, what we are doing is correct. So for the same thing, for joining date, I'll just go to my insert. I'll click on OK. My lookup value will be this. Put the $sign in front of J. My table array will be, let me just see, I'm too lazy. I'll just say A2 to F102. and I'll just put a $sign, and it is done. Now my joining date is in what column? Is in the what?
1, 2, 3, 4,
In
5,
the sixth
6.
column.
Yeah.
Then my range lookup will be this.
0.
Now 0. Now you can see what I'm getting. I'm getting numbers, and you know why that is, right? So what am I supposed to do here? I'm supposed to get a date, but I'm getting numbers. So what am I supposed to do here?
Why you get numbers?
I'm supposed to get a date, but I'm getting numbers.
Yeah.
So what am I supposed to do here?
I think. Right, yeah.
You remember what these numbers are? I told you they are from the beginning of the 21st
21st
century.
century. Yes.
Is it
Yes.
20th or 21st? I cannot remember. So, but
20th, 21st century. I think it's 21st.
yeah, it should be from the 21st century. I forgot it. So it means that this is a formatting problem. So I'll just go to my home ribbon, go to this number
Change to date.
icon here. I'll change it to date. Mostly it's just short date, but if you want, you can change it to long date so you see the complete date. But
nice.
if you want, you can just change it to short date. But for readability purpose, you can change it. So this person joined on Tuesday, May 14, 2019, and so on and so forth. So you can see how we have brought out information.
So that one we first got, the other one for the one we got through using the function, the insert function. So those dates are, does it mean those are 21st century dates?
Sorry, I don't follow. Sorry, I don't follow.
The one, the answer we got through using the insert function, right? That doesn't look like a date in any way.
It's counting the number of days from the 21st century to
21st
date.
century. Okay.
Yeah, so I think 21st century started from 19. No. Oh, 21st century is from the 20th century. Sorry.
20th century.
Yeah, 21st century started 2000.
2000. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you know the way centuries work. You might be wondering, we're in 21st century. We are supposed to be like 2000.
Yes.
Maybe 2100 or something. No, a century is 100 years, so 2100. No, but 21st century is counting from 0. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you have 0, the first 0 to 100 is the first century. So the 1900 is actually the 20th century. So it's actually start counting from the 20th century till date. 21st century is just the year 2020, the year 2000, right? So it's counting it's counting in days, right?
Yes.
Let me go back. So this is a count of the number of days from the 20th century. Is it 20th or 20th? Let me, yeah, 20th century.
20th century.
From 1900. Yeah, so the 20th century. So I think you can Google it and you'll see that. So so you can either choose the short or the long date, so it's readable like this. Then you can do some other formatting. Today looks like it's a little bit easy, right?
Yes. So
okay, interesting stuff. Anywho, let's assume that I want to get the first name and last name of this person. So I can just add a first name and a last name. Then I can then do my VLOOKUP, and so you can see we're always referring to J9 at every point in time because that's our anchor point. Yeah, that's our
Okay.
anchor point. That's what we are using to look up this
Okay.
value. So it's gonna
Okay.
be
Table array. Where
so my first name is in what column number? Column 2.
column 2.
Then this is 0, and I've returned Patricia, and I'll just click and drag. I'll just drag this to the right, and I'll still get Patricia because I'm still in column 2. I'll just need to change this column to 3, and I'll just click on OK because our last name is in the 3rd column. I'll just click on
Yes.
OK and just click and drag, and
Drag.
I'm good.
Okay.
Now, there's an easy way to do this, or a much more, it's not easy per se, but a more automated way to do this. Now, let me get this. I'm going to post it here. I will arrange it. Okay, so let me arrange it in this format. Hold on. Let me arrange it in this format. So let's say I have these guys, and I want to get some information, this same information, the date joined, and so on. And let's say EMP 050, EMP 089, ENP, EMP 067, EMP 0, let's say 39. Now, I can do it in such a way that I'm going to automate this process, and it's not going to be dependent on this column number. It will be dependent on what I write here. That's the column header. Now you see the formula that we wrote is not dependent on this column, these titles here. It's just these titles here are like for shows, so that you say, oh, okay, this is what this information means, giving meaning to this information. But ordinarily, even if I just delete it, right,
Yes.
it will still return the information. It's just that this is like a for show, so that I can easily identify what information, what category of information am I getting, which is why I'm putting all of these titles, right?
Yes.
But what I can then do is automate in such a way that this, whatever information I'm getting, is dependent on whatever title I actually put here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So let me show you how to do that. Now, for me to do that, I would introduce another function called a match function. What that match does is it will get the position of whatever this title is in my table array. When it gets the position, I don't need to start putting 2, 3, 4. It has already gotten the position for me automatic. Then I will just copy that function and just replace it with the column index number that I'm using. That is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right?
Yeah.
So but before I do that, let me show you how it works. I'll just click on match, insert function. I don't know, do I have match here? No, I'll just type match. I'll click on go. You can now see the match also have like a lookup function, a lookup value, a lookup array, and a match type. Now they say lookup array, not table array, is different. A table array is like a range of values that is two-dimensional. That is, it has both x and y axis, or horizontal and vertical axis. But a lookup array is just one long, it can be a long line of range of values, either It has to be either horizontal or mostly vertical, or a very small portion, whether if we do it two-dimensional. So I'll just click on OK. Now my lookup value will be whatever my title is. I'll just click on it. Now, because I'm going to click and drag horizontal, it means that we'll have J18, K18, L, and M like that, up to O, but it will still have 18. So I'm going to put a dollar sign in front of my 18. My lookup array now will now be where I can find this particular title, which is basically here. And I'm going to put a dollar sign, and the match type is I think 0. I think this is also 0. Click on OK. Now you can see that it is returning 1. So my employee ID column is the first column in my table here, and I'll just click and drag, and you can then see my joining date is the 6th column, my salary is the 5th, the first name is the 2nd, the last name is the 3rd, department is the 4th. Make sense? So you can see, if I go and then if I go then to examine my VLOOKUP, this 4, which is department, you can see it here, 4 here. Salary is 5 that we put here. You can see salary 5 here. Joining date is 6. You can see joining date 6 here. Regardless of how I decide to change my my title. Now, for this VLOOKUP, right? I'm going to write my VLOOKUP now. Insert, click on VLOOKUP, click on the lookup value will be my employee ID. I'll put a dollar sign in front of the J. My table array will just be everything here. My column index number is 6, right? Because joining date is in the 6th column.
Yes.
And my range lookup is 0. I'll then click on OK. Now I've gotten the same thing. I've gotten the value. Now what I can then do is, where my 6 is, I'll just click, since this is also giving me 6, this match, I'll just copy this match, Control C, escape, and I'll just replace this my value 6 with what? With my match function. I'll just say Control V, and I've pasted my match function, and I'll just click on OK, and you can see that's giving me the same thing. Now you might be wondering what has changed. Now I don't really need to do anything again. I just need to click and drag, and I'm going to get the right information for almost everything. You know, before, if I do here, if I go here, I have to go and change the column index. But now I just need to do it once. I'll just drag. Now you might be wondering, what is so different? Now let me show you what happens. I'm going to change this to first name. You can see that I changed this to first name. You can see that you can see names here, and you can see that the match, the result of the match function actually changed, because first name is found where? In the second column.
Yes.
So if I say department, you can see the match has changed to what? 4, and you can see the information here matches here. If I say last name, you can see the last name, the value has changed, which matches what? Here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I can automate this process in such a way that maybe for my last name now, here I'm going to go to data, I'll add data validation, I want to add a drop down. I'll go to my settings, click on the drop down of where allow is, go to what? Go to list. My source, I'll just highlight everything here. Right. And I'll then click on OK. Now, I can then click on this drop down and go and just click on first name, and you see all the information here will change. All the information here will change. Everything here will change, and so on. Now, what I can then do further is to automate this process by applying the same data validation. Go to list. My source data will be all the employee ID here, and I'll just click on OK. And what would that do? Sorry, just hold on.
All right.
Sorry. What would that do? I can then decide to delete everything here, right? Delete everything here, and I literally will just say delete. I just have just these two four different cells. Maybe just let me see. I would format it well, and what I can then click on the drop down for the employee ID. Any of the employee ID is now here. All of the employee ID is now here, and I can choose anyone. I'll get the joining date. I'll go to the. I can just click on the drop down for the information I want to check. For the first name, I'll get it. For the last name, I'm going to get it. The department, I'll get it. The salary, I can get the information. I can change my employee ID to this, and I'll get a different information. Go to the first name, go to the last name, and the department, and maybe go to a different employee ID, and so on and so forth. What then do I want to do to make this pretty interesting? Let me see. I can add. Let me see. What do I do? No need. I'm going to do that particular application in maybe tomorrow or so. But basically, I've used two different functions, which is the VLOOKUP and the match, to automate the process, inclusive of using a data validation and adding a list to automate the process in such a way that I have all access to all of this information of this table in just only 4 different cells. Does that make sense? In such a way that I can access any information at every point in time, and
Yes.
for 100 is in finance, I can go to the first last name, I'll get this. First name, I'll get Jessica. There's no Dorcas, but let's assume I decide to change the name to Dorcas, or let's say I will change your first name is Dorcas, right?
Yes.
The last name is this. Now, if I go to employee, that's M001, you can see the first name here,
Yes.
Dorcas. If I go to the last name, I can see your last name. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Oh, that's interesting.
If I was to be asked, the one I will go with, I think I will go with the VLOOKUP.
Yeah. So, the VLOOKUP works fine. It's just you can add the match as well, because it does a whole lot of stuff.
Oh, really?
And
So that
it
match is also
helps you
necessary.
to, yeah, it is necessary. So let's say, for instance, I think I've used match a couple of times on its own without having to use VLOOKUP, right? Because maybe I want to do
Okay.
like data validation. You can use match to do data validation. So for
Oh, okay.
instance, I want to I want to do a check. Let's say I have a list of this name. Again, I'll just copy this in any format. Control C. Let's see. So I have a list of names. I want to check in my first name, at what particular position will I find Philip, or if it actually exists or not in this my table. So I can just say, let's say, a match. What match is going to do is going to tell me if it exists or not, and it's going to tell me in what position is this name. What position will I find this particular name in my list? And I'm just going to turn it, just going to spice it up a little. So we can use this to do data validation to check if this name actually exists. So I'm just going to apply my match by going to insert. I'll click on match. It has a lookup value, a lookup array, and a match type. I'll just click on OK. My lookup value is James.
Yes.
Where am I looking for my James? In where? In my first name of this particular table, and I'm just going to highlight everything. So B3 to B102, put a $sign, and the match type is what? 0.
0.
So you can see I've gotten a match, a number. So once it gives you a number, it shows that, oh, this name actually exists somewhere in this table. And I can then click on and just click and drag. Now, if I go to, it means that what it means is that if I go to the 12th item on my first name in my table, I am going to get James. What does that mean? So from here, I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, am I looking at the right thing?
So that's
Sorry. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12, which is James. If I go to the 17th item or the 17th cell of my first table, I'm going to get Sarah. So this is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You can see Sarah. So it not only tells you if these particular names exist, it will give you the position of where it exists on this particular table. So we use this, like I said, I think me personally, I've used it for data validation. I cannot remember. Okay, I think, let me show you one of my datas. Hold on. I think if I remember correctly, I have some data somewhere. Aha. So I worked in public health some 2 jobs ago, and I have a whole lot of work from public health. Let me see one of the craziest things we've done before. So these are old data, right? I don't think it's way beyond. Let me see. There are some crazy analysis I did before. Let me see. Sorry. Hold on. Okay, let me do it by size and see. Oh, that is interesting. So this is, oh yeah, this is interesting. So I did a what they call a discrepancy analysis. I was trying to check between two different independent data that we had, and we're trying to do some validation and checks to see if one exists in the other. Do we delete? Do we remove? Do we add it to the main list? And so basically, this was my findings at the end of the day. And
Beautiful.
yeah, this led the company to get a particular crazy project like that. Very interesting project. Yeah, a very interesting stuff. So we had what they call a workbook where we had a list of um, settlement we needed to visit, and we have like a rich baseline where this is what we have online, right? So
Yeah.
this is what they had prior to when this particular program started.
Okay.
We don't know how they get the source of the data, but this is what we have based on satellite imagery and what implementation that has been done before. And so wanted to compare these two to see what matches, what doesn't, how do we then do with that particular data. So I did a very extensive. So I was looking at
Yeah.
our vaccination reach, or they call reach baseline, is about 22,500 and something, and we have for the what they have on ground about 7,700 and 7,078. The discrepancy is over about let's see, 15,000 or 14,000 something. That's the differences. So you can see this. You can see this name match.
Yes.
Basically, I did a name match. Let
Okay.
me see. Let me go to this is based on name. Let's see. Where is the match? What match? Hold on. So you can see. Okay, this is a VLOOKUP. I did to check, and I also did. Oh, I even used VLOOKUP. That's interesting.
Mhm.
Oh, so this is my match by name, and I actually use VLOOKUP. What was I even trying to do? Oh, so I was checking if this. Okay, very interesting stuff. Um, if my VLOOKUP from my from this particular worksheet
Yeah.
is, if the value is equal to this, if it is equal to this, it's going to return true because I'm doing an equal sign, or else it's going to return false. So
Us.
um I'm not using an if else, I'm just using if error. So what if error does is you do you do whatever it is you want to do. If you don't get, you don't get the value or intended value, to just return false basically. So what happens if there's an error? Just give me right false. So this is just basically a comparison, and I actually use VLOOKUP to do remember the equal sign that I thought I showed you before. If you just say is, for instance, is this just equal to this, it will tell you false. You
Yes.
understand? So
Yes.
where this J27 is, I just added a VLOOKUP there to match it, to give me whatever it is it should give me. If it is not equal to this, then just return false, because it's going to return an error. Now you can see where we use concatenate. Why do we use concatenate? We want to get unique identifier based on name.
Yes.
Already we have a unique identifier here. None of this is repeating. But we also want to check based on name. Maybe when we are trying to we're getting this information, we're repeating, maybe somebody made a mistake somewhere. You understand?
Yeah.
People and
Mm-hmm.
machine are not above mistakes. So
Yes.
we have a unique identifier. We have a unique identifier here, but because we are not doing a comparison of unique identifier, we are doing a comparison of name. So in order for me to get a unique name, already these are LGS. You can see they are repeating. Words are repeating,
Mm,
but the name, by
yes.
the time we combine these three names, it is
Still
supposed to give us
together.
some level of unique identifier. So that's why we use the concatenate, and we are now doing
Understand.
comparison, and we are doing a name match. you can see that we did name match, workbook versus rich baseline. We now did an ID match. You understand? So I did an ID match. I did a name match. So for this rich baseline, I also did a concatenate of the names, just so that I can compare. And I was comparing it both ways. I was comparing it. Also, what I was doing is from here, I did a comparison of this as my reference point to this. And here too, I also did a comparison with this with this. And that way, this is my reference point of this particular data here. And this is also a reference point of this particular data here. And anyways, this was what I was able to, the summary of all of this data. We have about, I think we, so yeah, we did a lot of, oh, wow, this is interesting. Okay, so I think we did filter. That is why it is like this. Where is the filter? Okay, this is the filter here. Let me just clear this filter. This filter has been here since 2020. I don't think I've touched it. So so you can see we have about 7,079. So including the header is 78, which is what we have here. For this we have, oh, I actually filtered it. Let me just clear the filter. So you can even see that we have empty identifiers. Why? Because these names are just weird names, and you know, I don't know why. These are computer generated. So we have about 22,530. Sorry, so 536, which is, if you are going to remove the titles, 535, which is what we have here. And I now started doing comparison based on name, what is found here that is not found in the other place, and what is found in the other place that is not found here. So name match. So you can see the name match. These are the names that match. What is in the baseline that is not found in the workbook? What is in the workbook that is not found in the baseline? And how did, so for the workbook, if I'm comparing the workbook with the baseline, I have 304. If I'm comparing the baseline with the workbook, I have 305. So it means that there's a problem there. What the discrepancy now we now have is 1 in between, and we have a discrepancy of about 158 to 151. And it's not like I knew what I was doing when I started. I was just trying to poke to see what inference can I get. And so I did a lot of, so you can see this is what is common in the baseline compared to the workbook. For the workbook, this is what is common in the baseline. Where they meet, this is where they meet. What are the reasons for certain things is, you know, so a lot of discrepancy we then have from things that have to do with abandoned. So maybe they got computer generated name and so on and so forth. And so I now did a discrepancy by LGAs, which is by this, which of the LGAs actually have this discrepancy issue. So you can see anyone that is not, this is, you see the reason for this color is this equal.
Yes.
So now, so it means that in our analysis, we want to further poke. We are going to remove all of these LGAs that have that don't have issues. So I have now reduced the problem of search again. So these are the LGAs that have issues and why. Do you understand? So
Yes.
basically, yeah. But the point I'm just trying to bring here is, you can see the concatenate is not something that you don't know. The VLOOKUP is something that we just did now, and you can see how I used it to do like a check.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And all of these are actually formula based and pretty interesting stuff. Wow. I think I enjoyed this analysis. I really did.
Yeah, it looks so nice.
So we did a lot of this particular organization really taught me a lot. Like I have gotten bad experience from all the organizations I've worked with, but I'll tell you
Mm.
the good experience I've gotten outweighs whatever it is I had personal issues with. Do you understand? So I'm
Yes, yes.
mostly grateful for the places I've worked, and this place, man, I really played with data. I played with data because we had a
Okay.
lot of data to play with. And the good thing about this place is, um, you see online, if people want data, they will go online, they will go and get data. They don't know how they got this data. This data you see, we fetched it ourselves. We went to the field and fetched this data. It's not like here, say we send you a form, Google form. No, we had sister organizations that built tool for us, and we went to go and fetch this data. So this is not hearsay based on no, this is data that we understood because we collected it. We built tools to collect this particular data. We spent a lot of money collecting this data. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of money. Do you understand? So
Mm-hmm.
I would tell you that me personally, it was a very interesting experience for me. I don't think they are doing anything now. I think the work we did here was it was an opener for the organization to get more jobs, frankly.
Oh.
When we did a lot of look, if I tell you some of the things we achieved with this, you'll be like, oh, like yeah, this was me, and this is what we did. You know,
Ah.
it was a very interesting, and we used mostly Excel. There was no pop. There was no what do I say? Uh, there wasn't any SQL that time for us to use because again we were trying to, before you put anything in SQL, you have to do a lot of validation.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting stuff. Let me see. I think there was this very crazy what did I even put as this password? I've even forgotten. I've forgotten really. I've really forgotten. I passworded it. I don't even know why I did that. I don't know. Oh, these are tools we built. Very interesting stuff. So, oh yeah. Let me see. Oh, okay. Oh, these are very interesting too. So, um, we did a lot of crazy stuff, man. What assignment is this again? I'm just boring with my stuff.
No.
So,
I.
yeah, I really enjoy working here. That's
Oh,
it. Yeah, I will tell you that I did because I gained a lot of experience,
Lord,
and
yeah.
so it's one of the reasons. I think this place was one of the reasons why doing analysis. Two things. I don't like doing analysis I cannot relate to. If I cannot,
Mm-hmm.
you are just giving me assuming. I'll just be looking at you and headache will start worrying me because I don't really know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Um, Number one, that is the second thing I gained from this particular place is whatever analysis you are doing, you are sending. It is not just story. You are not just doing report. No, no, no.
Mm-hmm.
You are doing decision making. You tell them this is what we find, and nobody argues those things because after all, you are the one going to the field. You are the one doing all of these things, and you're like, no, see, this is what we found. Oh. Based on they will now say, okay, well, let's look at the data. You will now look at data. Oh, this is really what you found. Okay, what do we go? What do we do next? How do we approach this? You come up with strategies. We did a lot of so we managed this program in our individual place of primary assignment. We did a lot. Man, we did a lot of stuff. It was an interesting stuff for 4 years. Very interesting, very crazy stuff. We met with a lot of people, and we met with people. And
Mm-hmm.
so this was, you can see the date on this stuff, right? 2017, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
2020, and even see some of the things I did. Very interesting things. I kept it, you know, because of sentimental value I had attached to this. More sentimental. And I don't really look at these things again. I just more sentiment because it 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 grew me to where I would say I am today in terms of independence and having some level of analysis. And we did a lot of geospatial analysis as well. Very interesting stuff.
So you did this?
Um, yeah, no, our sister organization did, but it's the data we
Okay.
did
Wow.
that they help map all of these places. I remember my slides when I was doing slides, very ugly slides. Anytime I see this, I'll just be laughing. Interesting stuff. Anywho, the reason why I wanted to show you this is because um, just so that you understand that whatever it is you are doing in
Yeah.
analytics, it does have a meaning. You might not understand what it is now, but it has some level of meaning, especially when you start combining it to do something. The tools in itself don't really do anything. It's only when you start applying these tools that is when you go, oh, these tools, this is what it does, this is what you understand what I'm saying. So
Yes.
each of these tools has the advantage. Each of the function we use is just knowing, like I said, you want to be a Formula One driver, you need to know how to first drive a car. Make sense?
Yes. That's right.
Then whether or not you want to do Formula One or whether you or not you want to do whatever it is you want to do, um, it just then depend on your experience and tools. Make sense?
Yes.
So, any questions before we leave?
No, no questions. Just that it looks so wow, this looks easy.
Thank God that you are finding it easy. Maybe
No, maybe not
I
this particular one, no. But this looks so easy. This VLOOKUP and the match. It looks easy to me. I don't know. Except maybe when you come tomorrow and you give me another tough, maybe another headache.
anyways, I will try as much as possible to give you something you can relate with. But again, you can see that the people doing analytics, they don't have two heads. It's just what they know and that's what they're trying to do. So one of the things I can also tell you is do not listen to a lot of noise because like I said, you have a lot of noise.
A
Focus
lot of
on the tool,
noise.
focus, yeah,
Yes,
you
especially
see
on
what I mean. See how
LinkedIn.
yeah, if you go on LinkedIn, this one will do this
You
project
know,
today, that one will do that project today and
yes.
tomorrow and stuff like that.
I was saying to my husband that these people, they're making it look as if I don't even know anything.
No, but for me, I would take it as a good motivating point to do better or to do
Ye-
better than them. So
Yes.
it's a platform, right? So, to all of these social, I think I should just stop recording. To all of
Okay.
this social media stuff, right, is also how much you know how to sell yourself. That's another thing. Now,
True.
the problem now with